Hello again and welcome to Pearl Magazine. Over the past 3 years, Hong Kong's retail and catering sectors were badly hit during the COVID pandemic. Now that it's passed, the government is again giving out consumption vouchers, hoping to boost local consumption. And while visits by mainland tourists are expected to go up this Golden Week, Alice Khan reports that retailers and F&B operators are seeing their businesses improving, but doubt whether this can be sustained or further boosted in the future. Once COVID restrictions went down, Ms. Jiang went back to dining out, but she doesn't spend a lot on dining. Today, she's taking her mother to a restaurant using their consumption vouchers.
Before receiving the consumption voucher, I had less dishes. After I received the voucher, I have 2 more dishes. I am happier. I will take my mom to restaurants more often.
The government dispersed a new round of consumption vouchers on April 16th, this time only $5,000, half the amount of last year's voucher. Eligible citizens received the first installment of $3,000 in April. The remaining value will be dispersed from the 16th of July.
The amount is little. It will be gone very fast. 5,000 is also good. It's great if we could have the voucher every year.
I seldom dine out. I prefer to cook at home. It is more convenient. I make a cup of coffee, have some noodle or a piece of bread. Now we get consumption voucher. Why not go for dim sum? $3,000, $5,000 is not a lot, but for a citizen like us, I am happy.
The catering industry suffered badly during the pandemic. According to Census and Statistics figures, the value of restaurant receipts fell more than 22.7% from 2019 to 2022. This chain restaurant operator, Thomas Wu, hopes the consumption vouchers will boost his business. But he says it doesn't help his business that much.
The revenue didn't increase a lot, but the environment is improving. Some are doing better. The increment is still below 10%. Some have less business, 3 to 5% increase, only a slight increase. After distribution of the consumption vouchers, the business volume is only 60 to 70% of that pre-COVID period.
Wu says customers are not willing to spend a lot on food.
In the past, they had 2 dim sums. Now they have 3 dim sums. They don't order as much as they did in the past. They're very cautious about their spending on dining. Citizens have suffered during the pandemic. Some have lost jobs. They already have spent all their savings.
Wu says the consumption voucher amount is only $5,000, so it affects customers' spending in the restaurant.
Firstly, the amount decreased. Secondly, people want to buy other items. They want to buy electric fans, aircon, electronics. They need money. They also need to pay for other expenses. For food, they would just stuff themselves, so the catering sector has not benefited much from it.
So Wu offers additional vouchers to his customers.
Our own spending voucher, $100 voucher, you can use the voucher when you spend over a certain amount of money. Now we have some dishes. The original price, for example, of the lobster, bundled with char siu, then the total price of the 2 dishes are $100, $200 lower than the original price. They are great value. You can't get them at the same price in the wet market.
Pre-COVID, restaurants normally closed at midnight or even later. During the pandemic, social distancing measures forced restaurants to close as early as 6 p.m. However, restaurants are still closing early, despite COVID restrictions being lifted.
Now everyone gets up early in the morning and goes home early. If there isn't any special occasion, they won't spend a long time in a restaurant. There is only one round. There is no second round of table. We don't have customers going for supper, so restaurants will close 1 or 2 hours earlier. Restaurants are quite empty in the evening. Not many people go out and spend in the evening.
In mid-April, the Hong Kong government launched the Happy Hong Kong campaign, and mainland tourists are expected to visit the city during China's long Labor Day week in early May. Wu's restaurant is next to Wong Tai Sin Temple, a tourist attraction. He's hoping his business will improve further during their visit. But he says revenue from mainland tourists will also be less than pre-COVID times.
Actually, the world economy is affected by the pandemic. Mainland customers are very smart. They also don't spend too much. Their spending power now, after COVID, dropped significantly, about 50%. In the past, each person spent about $200 plus. Now, it is only $100 or something. When our business was at its peak, 20% of our revenue came from mainland customers. Now it would be fantastic if we could have 10% of revenue from them.
Business is very difficult. Would you still be losing money or just cover the cost?
I tell you, now is a low season. We are definitely losing money. We have to cover all the expenditures and the costs now. Labour cost is high. Ingredients are expensive. Cost is high. But we have less business. We hope we have banquets at the end of the year to cover the loss.
Simon Wong, the president of the Hong Kong Federation of Restaurants and Related Trades, says the shortage of manpower has made it difficult for caterers.
We are, of course, trying to make more business, to make our business more profitable. But the thing is, we are also have one concern about the manpower, because we are now in serious shortage of manpower. And if we have more business, but we cannot provide the proper service to the customers, that would damage our industry.
During COVID, the retail sector was also badly hit. Pharmacy shops used to do well after 2003, when Hong Kong implemented the individual visit scheme, allowing mainland Chinese travelers to visit Hong Kong. At the peak of 2019, about 400 pharmacy shops operated in Hong Kong, but now the number of pharmacy shops has gone down by 20%. Lam Wai Man used to have 9 shops, but he closed 6 of them during the pandemic. Lam says his business dropped during the Easter holidays because people went abroad for the holidays. He says the consumption voucher boosted his business.
When the consumption vouchers were dispersed on April 16th, the business volume on 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th increased by 20 to 30% every day, compared to the period before Easter holiday.
He says his customers spend more money on medicine and supplements after they receive their consumption vouchers.
The family members will gather their vouchers together to purchase medicine that they can use over the next few months. So, our business volume jumped sharply. They do purchase more with vouchers. In the past, the average spending is $200. Now they spend $600 to $800. The increase is several folds.
But Lam says the vouchers will eventually be used up. Mainland tourists used to purchase large amounts of daily items and medicine from the pharmacy shops. However, Lam says he is not optimistic about the sales during the Golden Week because mainlanders can now purchase online.
In 2003, after SARS, many products were available in Hong Kong. They could be found in Hong Kong, but now, after 3 years of pandemic, the consumption pattern has changed. So our business volume is not as good as it used to be. For example, this type of product, our sales decreased by 50% because mainland customers can buy from online and compare the price, so they don't need to purchase in Hong Kong.
Lam hopes he can sell other items which are not available on the mainland.
Which types of products they would buy most?
For example, Panadol, this,
Painkiller.
and this type of supplement for bone.
Why do they buy these products?
Because the quality is guaranteed. And for this type of product, demand is high. And also these are made in Hong Kong, and overseas brands have a good reputation.
Meanwhile, mainland tourists are already flooding into Canton Road and TST. Some line up outside luxury handbag shops, but compared to pre-COVID times, not many mainland tourists are buying expensive goods. According to government figures, retail sales improved and further rebounded in February. But academic Simon Lee says the retail sector may not recover back to pre-COVID levels.
Strong US dollar means strong Hong Kong dollar. Compared to renminbi, is lower than before. So things in Hong Kong become more expensive. They can buy it alternatively, right, from other places. If they just come to Hong Kong for buying retail items, they can do it online. Why they need to come here? Because those products are not produced in Hong Kong. It's produced somewhere. So why don't they go to the original places, origin of the manufacturing, to buy it rather than in Hong Kong?
After the break, tears and joy in the fabric of our society. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. The closing of a 45-year-old fabric market in Sham Shui Po has stall operators and people in the neighborhood saying an emotional goodbye. But as they get ready to relocate to a new market, the social fabric among these closely knit people is strong once again. There is a Chinese saying, a roll of cloth is so long. But how long is a roll of cloth?
There are about 10,000 rolls of cloth in my store.
Ho Ying Hoi has been working as a fabric dealer for a long time. He operated an old stall on Yan Chao Street for more than 40 years and recently moved to the new fabric market on Tung Chau Street. He's been busy day and night preparing for the opening of the new shop.
We're halfway through the preparations, not fully settled yet. It was moved in a hurry. The fabrics were randomly placed on the ground. Now that the shelf is ready, the fabric can be sorted and hung up.
Ho Ying Hoi was born in Shunde, Guangdong. His first job in Hong Kong was selling cloth. At the time, he just wanted to make a living.
In the countryside, new fabrics were rare to a family. I'm the eldest son and the only child who can wear new clothes every year. Then they get passed to my brothers until they're worn out. When I first entered the industry, I observed what kind of cloth people usually wanted and kept it in my mind.
Ho's stall caters to different customers and therefore has almost everything. Curtain fabric, bedsheet fabric, cotton, linen, almost all kinds are available.
These are my favorite kinds of fabric. It's included in the National Intangible Cultural Heritage. It's called tea silk. So beautiful. It's like my baby. I even care about it more than my real kids. My kids can be scolded, but this cannot be broken. If it breaks, it's gone. So I care a lot about it.
2 streets away from the new fabric market is the temporary Hawker Bazaar, a shack on Yanqiao Street where Ho's old shop is located. The place is more commonly known as Pang Tsai. Pang Tsai has borne witness to the development of Hong Kong's garment industry. At its peak in the 1960s, many people recycled leftover fabrics from garment factories and worked as hawkers in the Sham Shui Po area, selling these fabrics to neighbors at a low price.
Before moving to this shack, most of us were hawkers on Yun Chao Street, Shaki Mei Street, and Up Liu Street. Because of the construction of the MTR, we were placed here in 1978. It was supposed to be a temporary market, but has been temporary for 45 years.
It used to be an empty lot. The shelves and canopy were all made by hawkers. Everything here is of extraordinary significance. Chung Sang-ho and Wu Hoyan, who study Hong Kong local architecture, set up a special webpage for buildings such as Pang Tsai that are adapted to local conditions and have specific functions.
Pang Tsai is a semi-self-built building. We find it very interesting because many buildings in Hong Kong are designed by architects. But self-built buildings are actually built by a group of people using temporary materials.
It took them 2 years to publish a set of pamphlets explaining the structure and operation of the Pang Tsai, the life of the fabric seller, and the relationship between the place and the surrounding environment. However, the Pang Tsai was unable to cope with the changes of the times. In 2015, the government proposed to take back the land and build public housing. Tung is the oldest stall owner here. He has been selling fabric for decades and known many customers. Some student regulars are now fashion designers.
A PolyU student once came to buy fabrics for a competition and won an award. He asked me to wear his designs and took pictures around Central. I was happy, earning money and having fun. When I was young, I was courageous and hardworking, and it was hard work to carry goods to factory buildings. But I could endure hardships. I did it myself without hiring anyone. I've never hired anyone actually.
Tung planned to continue working hard. Meantime, demolition was repeatedly delayed. 8 years have passed, and Tung has turned from 82 years old to 90.
It's postponed again and again. But the rent was waived, so I just continue the business. I have strong waist and hands, so I can handle it.
多謝晒，身體健康啊！後會有期啊！係啊，係啊。
8 years was enough to make him change his mind.
Time to end. It's a pity indeed. All fabric would go to the landfill. We don't want them anymore.
Tung spent half a century of his life at the stall, so it's hard to say goodbye.
After decades of working here, I have feelings for it. It's a nice and fun place, and I worked here every day. The best thing is that I've never been unemployed in my life. I raised 4 college students and supported my family. I'm grateful for doing this for decades with my hands and being in this industry. I really like it. I'm satisfied.
people choose to end, while others choose to find a new beginning in a new place. 16 owners of the original 49 stalls decided to move to the new fabric market. Ho Ying Hoi is one of them.
I'll move the valuable ones first and then deal with the rest. The government told us the deadline on the 15th of January, so I started moving on the 16th until 11 at night.
For many years, Ho and a group of stall owners have been negotiating with the government for resettlement. But in the end, only a few of them decided to move to the new site because it's not just a business for them.
Many young people talk to me saying that, "Uncle, we don't want you to stop doing it. Only if you continue doing it can we learn from you." I'm only 60s now. I don't think I'm old. I'm still alive. I believe I should live to 70 at least. I'll pretend to be young so I can communicate with young people. Absolutely fine.
Heinrich studied fashion design. He comes to stock up on the last day.
I learned a lot here. The aunts and uncles here have taught us carefully. Like this kind of cloth is suitable for sewing. This and that is not suitable for it.
The most important thing about the old bazaar is that we have a community. Here, everyone communicates with each other, and we have neighbors come to support and check from time to time.
If think on a deeper level, you know that this day will come eventually. Even if you've been working for decades, you end it one day. All good things will come to an end, sad but also relieved.
That's our show for this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.